Hello, and welcome to another WBEC-East Women Who Own It podcast. I'm Taylor Tolton-Kane, Development and Outreach Manager at WBEC-East, and today I'm joined by two very special guests. Our first guest, Dr. Jennifer Gardella, CEO and founder of the Gardella Group. They specialize in helping small business owners get clients and customers through social media by understanding what you need to build a digital presence. They have DIY programs, including blogging, building your SEO, email marketing, and more. So welcome and thank you, Jennifer, for being here.
Thank you.
We're also joined by Marcia Zaruba O'Connor, CEO and founder of the O'Connor Group, a premier HR and talent acquisition firm serving small and mid-sized companies in professional services, life sciences, IT, manufacturing, and more. So thank you and welcome, Marcia.
Thank you so much, Taylor.
All right, so I want to first acknowledge, so I shared those two titles I shared are one of many that both of you hold. We're going to get into a lot of, roles that you play and things like that. So I'm very excited for that. I want to start by first asking you each to talk a little bit about yourself and how you started your small business journey. And Marcia, if you'd like to start, we can begin with you.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate that. I'm a big WBENC supporter. So I started about almost 18 years ago. I started in 2007, and I basically started off doing something similar, but a little different than I'm doing now. But the O'Connor Group is an outsourced HR, outsourced recruiting company that focuses on either HR people operations or recruiting operations or executive search. And we have about 60 people. We're located around the country, actually. And our home base is in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. Happy to be here.
Thank you so much. Jennifer.
So thank you. I'm Dr. Jennifer Gardella, CEO and founder of the Gardella Group. Similar names I just realized for the first time with Marcia. So I started my business back in 2013. I was coming out of finishing my PhD and also coming off of a job where I had learned everything about SEO. So SEO and social media were just brand new. And I knew that I had a skill set that could help a lot of small business owners who could not afford to bring on digital marketing expertise to their team. So that I said, okay, I can be their offsite marketing director. It was actually the birth of the digital marketing agency. It was that time. And then over the last, several years, I've gone through several iterations of what I've offered, but it's always stayed true to digital marketing expertise that small business owners can afford. That's always been central to my mission. As WBENC knows, I also do domestic violence training, which was offered for the first time last year and generously supported by WBENC scholarship. So that's also part of our mix now too.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
I appreciate it. And we'll get to later how people can connect with you and kind of get to know your business. But I'd like to focus on the business journey first and, what it's looked like for each of you. And also talk about mentorship, because I think that's a big theme that we wanted to talk about today. So first question, when did you first realize you needed or wanted a business mentor? And then why do you think every small business owner should seek out a mentor? And Jennifer, we'll start with you if that's okay.
Thanks. So I am now a professor of entrepreneurship at Bucks County Community College as part of a workforce development grant. And I am obviously the participants in the program, I am their first mentor. But one of the things that I tell them on day one is I want them looking for their next mentor already, whether it's through SCORE or whether it's through another nonprofit or there's several SBA programs and all of this. And so you realize very early on in the entrepreneurial process that you always need someone to be pointing out your blind spots, cheering you on, and is going to help you at every level. Because at every level in a business, you're going to be dealing with different issues. And it's critical that you have different sets of eyes on those issues. And what got you to a certain level is probably not going to get you to the next one. So I have had many mentors over the years, and I saved this story for this interview today. Marcia offers an incredibly generous program I'm going to say it's local, although there's people that someone flies in for it, which I didn't get the details of how that happens. Marcia can explain that. But I was assigned a mentor in Ashley Carroll, who is a wonderful individual who has already seen my blind spot and is really pushing me hard to build my business. Like she is exactly who I needed to, take me to this next level. I often joke, I need somebody to really push me. And so she is the one. And when you look at the program that Marcia offers, and we'll hear a lot, it's called Shadow Her. It's a comprehensive program, but with access to some high level people that small business owners need. So that is what my feeling of mentorship. Now, the program will end. Ashley and Marcia I haven't actually known her all that long, but I also know that I'll have them for a long time. I always say I'm a life sentence anyway. So people just don't leave, right? You become part of the family. But people that just don't end when the program technically ends in a couple months, the people that you can call on for a while.
Absolutely. Thank you. Do you want to add, Marcia, about like mentors maybe you've had? And then we can get into your Shadow Her program after if you'd like.
Yeah, sure, Taylor. I would say I'm more about the tribe. And I would definitely say I've always had little tribes. What does that mean? It means other people who have been there, done that, and have taken me under their wing, kind of a deal. I mean, I had a lot of mentors growing up individually, but I have to say, with my business side, my entrepreneur side, it's truly been those tribes. And those tribes have changed. When I first had a trusted advisor tribe, it was like all solo entrepreneurs. And we would do breakfast together. We would hang out once a month. We would have like our coach kind of a deal and do a little check-in monthly. And then I realized like I was really growing. Like I wanted to build. I knew then I didn't want to be a solo entrepreneur. I wanted to have a team. I wanted to be I don't know how many people, but more than one. And so that tribe really helped me figure out, because I was noticing like I'm doing this, I'm doing this. And when you talk to people who've been here and you're here, you get to know the ins and outs. And then I moved up into a bigger group and belonged to groups such as like EO and all, which is a bigger tribe, and you have to hit a certain revenue to hit all that. And then you realize you have like just different tribes. AWE, it was a group called Alliance for Women Entrepreneurs. That was another tribe of women entrepreneurs, and it's a different story sometimes for the journey for the male versus the female going up in the entrepreneur side of the house. And it's interesting, but each time I would say it's that tribe, and it's also making sure that now you feel like I've made where I'm at now, and I want to give back to a lot of people, which is one of the reasons why Shadow Her was created. But we'll talk about that shortly. But the idea behind it is find a tribe that motivates you, that excites you, that you feel like you're learning from. And it's okay to leave that tribe if you feel like I've hit my plateau and everybody there is great, but I need more. And I've done that now twice with groups that I was involved with, whom I love, and I'm still good friends with all of them. But they were here, and I just wanted to constantly keep growing, and they didn't. And it was really hard to pull away from that, but I know I needed to do that in order to get to this goal up here. So you can't be afraid of doing that.
Yeah, and like Jennifer said, you can always go back to that group too. They're always there for you. So awesome. Thank you. So do you want to jump into and talk about your Shadow Her program, Marcia? And
Yeah.
then Jennifer, are you participating in the next, is there a cohort coming up? Or you can share all about this, but like what you're looking forward to, Jennifer, being part of the Shadow Her program.
Yeah, Marcia, why don't you explain it first?
Yeah, there's a great story behind it. So one of my mentors along the mentor journey was I joined a group that was a mastermind. It was a social media marketing mastermind right when COVID started, by all means. And Jeff Hoffman had put this thing on LinkedIn. This is a true story. He put on LinkedIn, "Hey, I'm doing this mastermind, top 20 people around the country. If you're interested, let me know, blah, blah, blah." So I'm like, I'm gonna put my name in. My company was smaller. I'm gonna figure out if I can get this or not. Lo and behold, a month before COVID hit, he's like, "Congratulations, you're in our mastermind." I was so excited. Here's Jeff Hoffman. By the way, he's the guy who started Priceline.com. He's the one who, if you go to the airport and you see all those kiosks, that's his IP. And so this guy is the ultimate, and he's a good friend of mine to this day. So we went to this mastermind. And one of the things we had to do is go, this is 2021, we had to basically go in person down in Orlando. And we did a video between him and he asked me questions. And he realized like we had really good operations. And, with my accounting background, we have a strong operations unit. And he just said, you really should have women shadow you in your operations. And I was like, Eureka! And so that night I went to GoDaddy.com. I saw the domain shadowher.org was available. I bought it. I had breakfast the next morning with him, like, you're not gonna believe what I did last night. And I said, I bought shadowher.org and give me 12 months. It's going to be up and running. And because of that idea, I really want to do this. And he's like, you go for it. So I went on the plane. I actually wrote out the business plan on the plane on the way back. And I said, give me 12 months and I'll have it up and running. And our first cohort went up 9 months later. And so he's real involved. Like, believe it or not, he's like the back end scenes and all too, but he's traveling around the world right now. But he always gives me that support of saying, this is great. You're making an impact on women. And the idea was doing it 10 cohorts per, one for the spring semester, one for the fall semester, and create a community of women entrepreneurs in that 100K to 400K revenue size, and really help them with their operations so they can move up and eventually hit that $1 million mark, which is really hard to do. And that's where we're at with Shadowher on our second year. So very excited about it. And Jen's a part of it.
Yeah, do you want to share what you're looking forward to, or maybe share what first drew you to Shadowher, how you found out about it, and then what you're looking forward to?
Ooh, it's like you teed up that question perfectly with what I wanted to talk about. So first, I'm going to tell you the story of how I met Marcia. So she had come onto my radar screen at a WBEC event. And to be honest with you, I'm pretty sure it was in person at a luncheon, but I can't be positive. And of course, we connected on LinkedIn because that's what you first do. And then I saw that she was generously offering a conference in King of Prussia at EOS. And I was like, oh my gosh, I get to see Marcia again. Like, again, it's all about building relationships, right? That's what we know. And so I said, well, if she's putting her time and effort behind this, I'm going. And I was also in the WBENC Ignite program with WBENC National or I was going into it. I don't remember exactly the dates. No, I was. Anyway, so I said, okay, I'm going to go. And I got my doors blown off. I was like, oh my gosh, this is an amazing morning. Even if you don't want to hire one of these people in the front of the room, this is a lot of great information. Marcia hangs out with really, really good people. That's what came out of it for me. So we connected several times. We now see each other at several events. I saw that Shadowher was advertised and I said, she's got something to teach me. And when you feel drawn to a program, of course you have to apply, but you should definitely apply even if you don't meet the criteria or something, that you're not big enough, because you never know if they're going to have a spot. Right. Mm-hmm. And who knows, they may think you're great and let you in. And I was like, I'm applying, even though I may not, I had no idea if I was perfect for the program. I was like, let me just apply. And I was so blessed to get in. And it is what I'm looking forward to most is definitely the higher level perspective of my operations and working with my mentor on the nitty gritty, because my mentor happens to be an operations expert, which is really funny. So something about my application showed the team that is what I needed. And I think the team looks to bring everybody into the like Marcia said, they want you to kick up your operations. But again, to go from here, as I chug towards $1 million, it's going to take this kind of expertise to come in. And I'm just going to say, a lot of the programs that you can go into that you can pay for don't give you what you get out of these types of one-on-one experiences. I also do need a tribe, because what tends to happen to women is when you start to build a business, you're scrappy and you're all over the place and everybody's supporting you and it's great. And as you start to grow, it can get a little bit lonely. You're not it's in scrappy stage anymore. And suddenly the people that either are, or I'm just going to say it, need you to stay at that level are no longer part of your life and cheering you on. Now it's a problem. And so this group is really working at all times in your best interest, which is super cool. I will also say this, it is some of the best swag that I have ever gotten out of anything before. I got a book. So I have a lot of books, but they gave me a phenomenal book, and and I'm waiting because my sweatshirt hasn't come in yet, but it is some really cool swag. Marcia's really, really good at making you feel part of a community, right? And so that is, whether it's the courses that are offered or the not courses, the online component, whether it's the meetings, everyone's in this together. And it's a real feeling of community that she's bringing to it.
Thanks, Jen.
Yeah, no problem.
That's awesome. And yeah, you never know until you try. And then look what happens when you try. So that's really incredible. Thank you for sharing that story. I think, speaking of tribes, I want to get into WBENC certification next. And so if you want to talk about maybe what drew you to WBENC certification, where that came in your business journey, and then also what makes WBENC different from other networks, or other tribes that you've been a part of. Um, Jennifer, do you want to start with this one and then we can go back to Marcia?
Sure. I have a really interesting path here. So I had just escaped domestic violence. I was living in the Bucks County area, met the development director. I always get his title wrong. His name is Brian Cummings. He was actually at Desserts and More this year. He got on a call with him and I said, okay, you told me you could help me build my business. What are we doing? And he told me that the number one thing that I should do for my business is a WBENC certification. I told him that I had previously looked at the application process and got dizzy because it seemed like a lot. And given that I had just escaped domestic violence, my whole life was kind of a hot mess, right? I didn't have certain files, they weren't returned to me. So there was a lot of like upheaval. And he said to me, magic words, just take your time with it. It's okay. It doesn't have to, you don't have to do it in a weekend or an hour. It can take, so it did take me a couple months to complete because I was just not only busy, but piecing some things together. And that was 2000 and I don't even know, 23. And I then went all in. As I always joke, Liz and the team at WBENC are phenomenal, like you, Taylor, but no one drops off connections and contacts on your doorstep. You have to go all in. And so last year in 2024, I did 5 educational programs through WBENC National, which was helpful. I didn't have a good foundation of my business because it was born in domestic violence, which was part of my problem. Well, not problem, but opportunity to solve, as we say. Right. That made that, but I did all that. I applied for and was granted the Harmelin Scholarship, which was such a huge, I mean, I can't even tell you. I also before all that started, I was given an envoy. Talk about mentorship. I got Barb Boucher. Holy cow, right? Who told me apply for everything. So I did. And I applied and was selected for the in-person pitch competition that was in August in Philly, and then made it to nationals. I went through 3 levels of the national pitch competition and represented East at the finals in DC. So I went all in on WBENC, and it's just been, as I like to say, I can't say that it's not a lot of business has come in because of my WBENC connections, but it's an incredibly powerful resource. Oh, and I went to conference. That's the other thing. I went to Denver in whenever that was, and I'm going to New Orleans. I'll be in New Orleans in June. So the community is there for you. You meet the most magical people. You get these incredible experiences. Just being in the pitch competition alone, I was coached by the Jane Agency out in Chicago. I got Brooke Foley as a coach for me. I mean, it was unbelievable, who's now someone that I could call at any point as well. So it really has been, it's been an exhausting ride because I think I did a little too much, but wouldn't change a thing.
Awesome. Yeah, shout out Joanne Harmelin, Barb O'Shea, really incredible. And the support. I think what you mentioned is the support that you get from that tribe too. And Marcia, if I'm not mistaken, you're a WBEC-East envoy also, right? As well as certified through WBENC. So do you want to share about the WBENC community for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's hard to like go after that, by the way. She was as a person who saw the diving board, went down head first and just took advantage of all the great opportunities. I think a lot of people wait and they're like, oh, I don't deserve this. I don't deserve that. You just got to put your head down and go head first. I did not do that. And I've been a part of WBENC for a long time. So I have my certification. And you can definitely see with clients, it's making more of an impact now because I'm getting asked for it a lot more when I do proposals more than ever. And so it definitely has that advantage. But the other advantage of it is it's a network. Like I can call Liz up on anything. And number one, she always supports you. She finds the resource. She finds this for you. That's huge. And being an envoy, it's almost like an ambassador, like, hey, we need this. Hey, could you support us out there? Hey, could you do this? And I try to do like, what do you need? Supplies? You need this? You need this? I will help you, whatever you need, if I can, but it's really an honor to be an envoy. I saw Liz at a breakfast the other week. I said, Liz, I'm so sorry. I feel like I'm a slump because I'm not doing enough right now. And she's like, are you kidding me? And I sat there like, well, I like to give it all to all my things I'm involved in. I just haven't felt like I've given you that. And she made me feel like you're doing just fine. And I really appreciated that because I think we're so hard on ourselves, even though people are like, how do you sleep? I'm like, I do. But I like being busy and making an impact out there. If I can help help make one person smile today, I did my job. And I really do believe that, but it's really helping other women and all. And the WeBank's been really helpful, but go to the conferences, go to all these things. My first few years, I'm like, oh, I don't know, I don't know anybody, and now I could hit myself because I feel like you should have just dived into it and all too. But I gotta be honest with you, when you're by yourself, when you first off, it's lonely because you don't know anybody and you're not sure, just pull off that facade, get dirty, get to know new people. It's going to be worth it. You'll get a lot further faster because of it.
That's what they say. WeBank and the envoys are phenomenal because you can also call them up before an event and say, hey, I don't have anybody to sit with. Can I sit with you or whatever? So I always tell people when you're new to the organization, just let me know you're going to be there and I'll be your buddy. Because usually I don't know a lot of people either. I haven't even been in the organization 2 years yet. So there's not a ton of people that I actually know.
Yeah, I do now. I mean, I feel like I know quite a
Right.
few all the different names. And I've used their products and all. Like the one time during COVID, I told Liz I want to help out some of your people, and what are the products that we had. So I bought everybody every month. I gave them some kind of like gift, something to say, hey, I love you. And I gave them this great salts that a school teacher who had a side business. It was her grandfather's recipe of these salts, and I gave them out to the team, and it was great. It was 4 little salts, and I'm a big foodie, and I'm not a cookie, but I'm a foodie, and it was so cool to see that there was all like women-owned businesses, and I'm a huge supporter of that. So whenever I can get somebody's product or whatnot out there, I'm all for it. So pretty cool.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing. And I just hear that creating that sense of belonging from both of you, and like that's what the network does for you, and that's what you've done as well for other women and entrepreneurs in the network. So I really appreciate it. Last question, and it's 2 parts. So if any final words, any final maybe advice for someone just starting their business journey, but also how people can connect with you where you're at right now in your business journey. Marcia, would you like to start with this one?
3 words: don't give up. It's really easy to give up. It's really easy for when you're doing everything and someone comes across and says, "I've got this great job for you. You'll be perfect." And you don't want to do that. That's going to take a lot of work. You just work for me. 5 years from now, you'll be regretting that decision. So if you really want to do this, stick to your guns. Tell yourself, I'm going to do it, even if you have to drink soup. I did that for quite a few years. And, it's not too bad. Campbell's got great flavors out there. You want to make sure that you are doing what you do, but put it on your board, put it on your room of like why you're here. I had a lot of opportunities to go full time. Like, why don't you just come on board full time? And I was like, oh, it sounds so good. And I won't have any panic attacks anymore and all. And my husband's like, remember why you're doing this? And I was like, yep, you're right. And stick to your goal. And now it's almost 18 years. And, now people say to me, like, I don't know how you could work for somebody else, Marsh. And I'm like, I said, yeah, we all have that DNA, by the way. And I do think don't give up, but have your tribe. Your tribe will change over time, and be around people who are going to really motivate you instead of having trees around you. A lot of people, including family, including friends, do not understand if they're not an entrepreneur. It's a certain DNA, and I can't explain it more than that, but be around people that really understand that and promote you, and have it on call, like your 911 people. Like I have 4 ladies that are CEOs that I'm like, I need to talk to you right now. And they will call me back and like, give me 5 seconds, 5 minutes, I'll call you back. And then you just go off. And it's like, okay, I'm good now. Thanks. And they understand, they appreciate it. And then you're there for them as well. And you just get it. Because sometimes your spouse doesn't get it. And sometimes your best friend doesn't get it. And that's okay. But get yourself around people, because you don't want to go to your deathbed saying coulda, shoulda, woulda.
And quickly, how would people connect with you, following you, emailing, things like that?
Sure. Our website is tocgrp.com. I'm on LinkedIn. as well. Don't forget the Z in there for Zaruba O'Connor. And anybody who wants to reach out to me, feel free to do so. I pretty much answer everybody out there and to help you out. If you want to know more about ShadowHer, shadowher.org. And we don't take applications until May for the fall, but it's definitely, if you want to come and see one of our classes, I'd love to have you there and see what it's all about. But the idea is having community and fun. If I can help you with that, just reach out to me.
Thank you. Jennifer?
So I'm going to say that my words of advice are, if an idea has hit you, it has hit you for a reason. I won't get too woo-hoo, but if you're sent divine information that you should start something, you should absolutely pursue it in some way. Be smart. As I always say, don't quit your day job if, your business isn't formed enough to pay your bills. We don't want you going into starvation, but if you've been given the spirit to start it, it's probably yours for the taking. And I'll quote Wayne Dyer here when he said, don't die with the music still inside you. And it is stressful, like Marcia said. It can be overwhelmingly scary at times. And, I do tick with some anxiety. Most people do. So walking into networking groups alone, I think it's residual high school stuff, like whose lunch table am I going to sit at, right? So I hit me this morning at a big networking event. So either put your tribe together or realize that your tribe will come together. But it's not going to be an overnight experience. There are no overnight businesses. Anybody that does claim that, they're few and far between. So people need to be more honest, I think, out there. But just go for it. It takes courage, but it's inside of you. And you're not living anybody else's dream, right? You're either going to build someone else's dream or build your own. So build your own. And people can get in touch with me either looking up my name on LinkedIn, love to connect on LinkedIn, or at the Gardella Group.com.
Awesome. Thank you both so much. And from everybody at WBEC-East, we really appreciate you sharing this. And I really look forward to connecting with you both again soon. So thank you and take care.
Great. Thanks so much, Taylor.
Thanks, Taylor.